Hello everybody, Edre here, and for anybody new here, I make casual reviews, and they are just my opinion, so take everything I say with a giant grain of salt. With that being said, I'm going to be reviewing the new Ashnikko mixtape, Demidevil. A bit of background, like I do in all of my reviews, is, what are my feelings on her? To be honest, from what I have heard of Ashnikko in the past, I've had relatively mixed feelings. I don't think she has necessarily been the worst artist out there, but I think that in terms of this style, I feel like she never has done much to really stand out. I was hoping on Demidevil that she would do more to really make her sound feel more unique, more, different from the rest of the crowd. So I went into this with sort of mixed expectations. And for anybody that doesn't know who Ashnikko is sort of has a bit of electro pop sound, trap sounds, and she's sort of a pop singer-songwriter, but also a little bit of a rapper in there as well. So overall, going into this, I had middle of the road type expectations. So let's get right into this review. Musically, this mixtape is pop, it is trap, it's electropop, everything I was sort of expecting. Covers a lot of ground, that's for sure, and not always in the best way. The first thing that really stuck out to me, and this was sort of expected, but I just really was hoping that it wouldn't be as prevalent as I was expecting, was one way I could describe the sound of this mixtape is imagine if Melanie Martinez made a trap album. For those who don't know, I have relatively, once again, middle-of-the-road thoughts on Melanie Martinez. I get what she's doing, I get what she was all about, but I just feel like it came a bit forced, and this sort of forced edginess bleeds directly over into Ashnikko's music. It's almost as if, when I hear the instrumentals, it's the first thing that comes to mind because so many songs on here have, this sort of childlike music box type sound effects throughout it that sort of make it sound like a creepy, also a little bit of an edgy lullaby. And, for me, it just makes this album so predictable and just off-putting, but not in a good way. More just like, oh my god, how long is she gonna keep up this forced edginess? It's getting tiring very, very, very fast. And if there's one song that I think really epitomizes that perfectly is Deal With It. I think that song has those sort of instrumental tones throughout the entire song, and it just gets tiring super fast to the point where I just want it to end. And the big hit on this album, Daisy, which is also the opening track on this album, seems to be a very relatively standard track going down this style. Once again, it has the sort of music box sounding little keys in it. And the way her delivery is just so bland. Everything about that track just comes across so bland, middle of the road for my ears, and I just don't find much interest in it. This comes up throughout the entire project a lot. A song starts off sort of interesting, I am sort of interested in it. But the instrumentation comes very expected, and I am left relatively disappointed. And the song Slumber Party might just be my least favorite song on the album, with arguably the worst lyrics on the entire album, talking about hentai boobies. Why do I need to hear you talk about hentai boobies? It just sounds, once again, I know I sound like a broken record. It sounds very forced, edgy, and it just doesn't come across as natural. I feel like the song, that song Slumber Party also suffers from the fact that I feel like it can't figure out, does it want to be a reggaeton song? Does it want to be a trap song? The beat is just all over the place. It's messy. It's a mess. One of the few songs on here that really does stand out to me as being a highlight is Cry featuring Grimes. I am quite fond of Grimes. I loved her LP that came out last year, Miss Anthropocene, and if you go back even further to albums like Visions, Grimes is without a doubt a very, very influential artist in the modern age. And honestly, I think Grimes is the saving grace on Cry. She makes her abstract delivery, kind of adds a bit of something intriguing to that song, an otherwise uninteresting song. I don't think Cry is an excellent track, and I think that, once again, Ashnikko sounds about as average as ever. Overall, I think Grimes sort of saved the song. It's definitely a bit more focused, it's definitely a bit more straightforward, and I think it works better for both of them. And the last real song I want to cover here is Later Boy. I'm sure you already know, even if you haven't heard the album yet, the entire chorus is a sample of Skater Boy by Avril Lavigne. I mean, not a direct sample, but an interpretation. And why? The song Skater Boy is already bad enough. Why are you doing this and making it even worse? How is that even possible? And you transform a song that was just a sort of, funny, goofy teen love song into a disgusting, teenage sex story that's just not good in my opinion. I don't get why Later Boy was even a thought to be put on this mixtape. It is bad. It is about as bad as it gets. And also, how many times are you going to mention Britney Spears? You mentioned her on the song Toxic. I mean, that should be without a doubt. And Slumber Party once again. And just overall, most of the lyrics on this mixtape are just not that good. They are about as average as could be. They're about as uninteresting as can be. And it's just, I don't know. It did not leave any impact on me. Overall, I just thought it was a disappointing debut mixtape, and it strips Ashnikko of any of the weird creative edginess that came actually naturally before, and now everything just sounds forced. It doesn't flow together nice. It's produced just like any other average trap album. There is nothing that interesting going on Demidevil. I do think that these songs are not the worst things I've heard. I mean, there are some that I hate, but I do think overall, Cry was sort of a saving grace, and overall, it is what it is. I have settled on giving the debut Ashnikko mixtape Demidevil an edgy, a very edgy 3 out of 10. Anything below a 5 is negative. Anything above a 5 is good. So yeah, a 3 is not that positive. I don't know. I could not get myself to really get that deep into this thing and actually find myself enjoying it. What can I say? It's forced edginess to the extreme. And that's about all I have to say. Demidevil by Ashnikko. An unfortunate, edgy 3 out of 10.